Tips and Bullshit is sponsored by Atomic Beauty Cosmetics, a truly independent beauty company.
Hello and welcome to BT Tips and Bullshit. This is Ann Timms.
And Kat St. John.
Thanks for hanging out with us. So many of you hung out with us last week. We had tons of new listeners, Kat.
We did. Our stats were impressive. I'm so excited that we have some new friends.
Yeah, we've got lots of new listeners. So thanks so much. If you guys are just peeking out the show, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button on whatever format you're listening to. And if you are an iTunes person, leave us a little review. We like to see what you think.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at beautytipsandbs.com, on Facebook at Beauty Tips and Bullshit, and on Twitter and Instagram at Beauty Tips and BS.
Coming soon, you can find us on YouTube. We're working on that. That's in the works, but that's great for folks who just want to put on that YouTube channel and let it ride, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. While you guys are over on our webpage, Kat was just mentioning it, over on beautytipsandbs.com, there's a big button in the middle of the page that says get free shit. Click that button and put your email address in there so you can win lots of free stuff, right, Kat?
Yeah, so you can win some free shit. We hand out 2 juicy beauty box every single month to 2 winners, and you have to listen to the episode to hear if you've won, but regardless, go and do that. We have so much that we want to give to you.
We do. And starting this week, when you sign up for the email, and when you get that little email blast, you're going to see how you guys can get a little gift from us. So that's a little extra. But today we are announcing 2 winners for beauty boxes for the month of May. So keep listening. If you had put your email address in there, you're definitely going to want to listen to all of today's show, right?
See.
Speaking of, coming up on the show today, we have a fun origin story for you guys today. We have a story about how the world's most popular mascara got its start. That is coming up. And we are also breaking down sales, right?
Oh, yes. Deal or no deal.
Yeah. Deal
or no deal is basically where we go out and we see what deals are out there and we tell you if it's worth it or not.
Absolutely. And there's lots of stuff. I mean, as we've all been in quarantine, all we're getting is tons of emails like spend your money. So we took a look through some of the most popular retailers and indie beauty stores. And every week we are going to bring you some of our faves. Kat, besides gardening, what have you been up to?
Did I talk about moving my office last time?
No, because on the last episode, I was like, you should move your office.
So Anne did say, hey, you should move your office. And I was like, I don't know. And then quite literally that next day, I switched everything around it. So I have this larger room in my house that was housing this queen bed, and we would have our guests stay there, and there was a set of dressers, but it's no one ever would stay with me. Why the hell do I have such inviting furniture in here? I have a dresser. When am I inviting them to live with me? Fuck that. I don't want a roommate. So I moved the queen bed into the smaller space that used to be my actual office, and it literally is a nap nook. It's this tiny little room with a queen size bed, and you just go in there and you snuggle in and take a little siesta. It's also where I read my books. So that's a really cool thing that I switched up. And then the larger room that used to house my guest bed is now my office, and I have that dresser to store back stock and other things. I think I actually need to move my clothes out of my bedroom. I live in a very small house, and so space is kind of limited, so just getting creative with that. And so now I have a cozy little office space.
I think it looks awesome. I'm glad. I actually don't think you waited to the next day. I think you did it after we were done recording last week, because at the end of the night you're like, check out my new office.
What did I do? I texted my husband and I said, what do you think about me switching the office and the guest room? And he said, all right, yeah, that sounds cool. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I think he thought I was going to ask him to help me, because I had to disassemble a bed and some furniture and put it all back together. And so he was like, don't get too crazy. And then, of course, 3 hours later, I've already disassembled the bed, reassembled it, moved it into the other room, swept everything up, moved moved everything around. But yeah, I like it. It's nice because, I'm working from home a lot. So, and then, right now I'm at the studio. So I've grabbed some creature comforts from here that were, for my office that I brought over and I'm bringing them back home.
Yeah, why not? You were a woman on a mission last week and it paid off. Your office looks awesome.
Yeah, I need a space to be productive. And there's like kids around us and they scream a lot. And so I need my space.
I'm with you on that for sure. I need to have my own space too. Eric and I both do. It's nice having home offices. I can't imagine. I love our studio. I'm sad because, you've been I haven't been in the studio since before I went to London before, we were in our little shelter at home lockdown, which we're coming, I think, to the end of, which is going to be really interesting. But I miss it. I totally miss it, like seeing you there right now. But yeah, I'm excited to get creative. But speaking of creative, I've been part of this creative makeup group with a bunch of different artists on Instagram, calling it the Quarantine Makeup Challenge group. And it was started by a couple of friends of our friend Lillian, who started it. Lillian's been a part of it. Our friend Mindy, who works for NARS, has been a part of it. It's been a really fun thing to be a part of. I've done the last two competitions, I think, three competitions. I've done the last three of them. And then it was my turn to pick, and I got to pick the theme of it. And then I invited Kat to join because I was like, you have to come be a part of this. So Kat and I are participating in a David Lynch challenge.
I am so excited because and Anne knows this because I already did like one look. I was like, well, I'm going to do a backup look just in case because I did order some things and, you never, just in case my things did not arrive. I didn't want to be scrambling. So I did a little test run and it was really fun. I can't wait to see what everybody does.
Oh, it's super exciting. So what we do, you guys, is somebody each week picks a theme. So last week's theme was Man Ray. So we all had to do like makeup and styling, a concept based on Man Ray from the 1930s. And so then we we style ourselves, we do our makeup, we do the photo, we edit it, and then we post it on our Instagram. So if you guys want to follow along, you can go to our personal Instagram. So miss.kitten. And mine is Miss Tim's Makeup Artist. You'll probably spell it wrong. It's 1M, 2 S's, just like ass, 2 S's, whatever. I think they're in our bio on our Instagram too. But so this week, I chose David Lynch, which is going to be so fucking exciting because I'm a total super fan when it comes to Lynch. And it took me a lot of restraint, not just to pick Twin Peaks, but I wanted to see he has such an incredible catalog, portfolio of work, that so much cool stuff. Yeah, no, I've seen what Kat's one look is, and it's awesome. You guys, you'll have to jump onto the social media. We'll post our pictures and on the podcast page. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. I love that I had certain things, it was so random when I was looking at something that the character was wearing. I was like, I actually own something like that. Fuck it,
You totally did. What else have you been up to besides creating your David Lynch look?
Just trying to keep up with work, rescheduling some brides, doing some admin work, and working on also my social media. It's such a weird thing, all these tasks that I didn't have time to do. Now I'm like, oh, I have time to do this, and I'm trying to create a new routine so that when we do go back to work, that I can hit the ground running with some really good tools.
Are you reading our book for book club, Find Me Unafraid?
Yeah, I've made it 2 chapters in.
I haven't even started it. I will, though. I'm really good I do read our book, so I'll get it done.
I think for me, it's just when I start reading, I usually end up falling asleep. So I have to be in a place where I don't feel like I have anything to do, that I'm I'm bored, let me read this book, and then I'll power through it. Or I wait till the very last minute and then I'm like, oh shit, I have to read this. And then I do it. So,
I tried to listen to the audiobook on this one, but I listened to the sample and I was like, yeah, no, I can't stand this. And then I heard, and I don't remember who told me, somebody in our book club was like, oh, it's the authors narrating it. I'm like, well, good thing they're writers because they're terrible narrators. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, when I should have been reading, so funny, I posted this link. It was a BuzzFeed article. It's on my business Facebook page, so my Aunt Tim's Makeup and Hair page, and it's generally where I'll share random things like, movie makeup and things like that. It's kind of like that's where that stuff lives. But it's this cool article on like the top 20. If intense styling is your jam in movies, these are the top 25 movies that you want to watch. And there's a ton of them that I've seen, like Clueless is on there, and like Moulin Rouge is on there. And then this one movie popped up on there, and just the one picture they had on, I was like, oh my gosh, that lady looks so cool. It's called The Love Witch. Have you heard of this movie?
No.
Holy shit. Okay, save this for a date night when your husband gets home. This movie's fucking terrible. I'll tell you that right now. It's horrible. This movie is made in 2016, and it stars this lady named Samantha Robinson. Like, her other credits aren't very well known, except for the fact that she was recently in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So there's that. But it's filmed in that sort of like 70s porno style. And it's about like this witch, and her makeup and her hair and her clothing and everything are so awesome, on point. She's got like this badass like wing liner, and she's like got incredible style. Like, everybody who works on props and wardrobe and makeup and stuff, everything, like that's what's good about this movie, and that's why it's on this BuzzFeed list. But it's about this young witch who moves to this little town because she killed her last lover because she's just creates potions that are too strong. And she's just obsessed with love. And that's really about it. And she kills some more people. To be honest, I actually like fast forwarded so much of that movie. I was like, this is so dumb. But there's witchcraft, there's like covens, there's like sacrifices, there's potions, but there's this incredible level of set and styling. Like, they blew the entire budget in all of that.
I think that's what you kind of have to do if you have a really shitty movie.
Yeah, no, the plot is shit, but but that's how I spent one of my mornings. I was like, I'm gonna watch this film. This looks so cool, and you're like enamored with like all of the hair and makeup on it. But then you get to a point where you're like, this just is not even holding my interest anymore. I'm done. Time to go make some breakfast.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I started The Mighty Boosh.
Oh, I fucking love that show.
The first few episodes are really rough, and then you get to, all of a sudden the production quality is like so much better, and they do this music video, and I am like dying. My husband's like, what are we watching? I'm like, it's so random and it's wonderful.
Well, I'm glad you're watching that. That makes me happy. So see, this is why I don't like the new Great British Baking Show, because like, I love Noel Fielding. Like, I think he's rad, but he just does not fit in on that show. On the baking show.
I kind of think he does, and I mean, I don't know, I feel like he's so soft, and they always had a comedian.
Yeah.
Two gals before, they were comics, and so I think it kind of fits. It's just, I mean, there's no Mary Berry, and you can't.
Yeah, I don't like it first and foremost, I don't like it for that reason, but yeah. Well, up next, we're gonna gather up a chair, friends. Pull up a chair to the campfire. Let's talk about beauty history.
Let's face it, once the social distancing is lifted, you're gonna need your makeup artist. And you're gonna wanna meet them in a safe, comfortable, and creative space. Well, lucky for you, there is such a place, and a great way to secure your spot, skip the line, and support Ann and Kat during this time is to buy a gift card from Dampine Studios. The ladies are offering a $99 hair and makeup special. That's right, you can pre-purchase a gift card now and redeem it when they open back up for makeup and hair in the studio. Cool, right? I know. So head over to beautytipsandbs.com and find the link in the store.
So we love a great origin story, and Kat and I both love listening to how I built this. We've talked about that so many times on the show. We love finding out, where companies started. It's just something fascinating. I think it's because we're entrepreneurs and we run our own businesses, and it's great to have an origin. And I hope someday we're going to look back and be like, look at our origin story.
I think our origin story is pretty awesome, and I think that it's really cool to just have a nice little reminder of like where people came from.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. So we're going to kick off this segment. We've been talking about like, let's tell great stories about, beauty and brands that have inspired us. We talked, we told the story of Kevin Aquam, but like, we're going to put on our research hats and bring you guys something interesting. So we're going to kick it off with the #1 global cosmetics brand, Maybelline.
I love Maybelline products, so I'm excited about this.
What's the tagline, Kat?
Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline. I like that one that's like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Instagram filters. Oh my gosh, you guys, Maybelline has a very fun history in beauty, and we wanted to share that with you today. So sit back, ignore those fucking kids, pour a glass of wine. It's beauty story time. So this is how it all starts out. But first of all, you guys all know Maybelline. Many of you guys have that pink and green tube of Great Lash tucked in your makeup bags. It's long been a cult classic and a staple in pro makeup artist kits. Super cheap. It's like $4, $5 a tube. I ordered some on Amazon the other day. I think it was like, you could subscribe and save to it, and get it for like $4.20 something a tube. And I was thinking, like, that's so cheap to keep in your kit, with COVID times that we're in. We could just use those and give them out to people for like commercial stuff. Anyhow, that's a whole nother story. Great Lash is their #1 selling product. They sell 20 million tubes in a year. That is one tube every 1.7 seconds. So here's the story of how Maybelline got its start. So 1913 Chicago, old-timey times. Chicago, crazy big bustling city. Mabel Williams was a young beautiful woman who was in love with a man who was in love with someone else. Timeless story, Kat. She had the idea that if she used a little bit of makeup, it would help get this mystery man's attention. And at the time, Vaseline was like one of the only like cosmetic items, and it was the most popular cosmetic item that you could get your hands on. So Mabel was applying Vaseline to her lashes and brows to darken them up. Gross.
Hey man, here's the thing. You do what you can.
Totally.
What do I have? I feel like that's, yeah. No, I for that time, I probably would have done the same thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was innovative. And on top of that, if COVID has not taught us anything, from cooking to getting by, you do what you can. So, I mean, this 1913 Chicago. So she's applying this Vaseline to her eyelashes and brows. Her younger brother, Thomas Williams, who at the time was a chemist, came up with the idea to add carbon dust to Vaseline. And after a few years working on the formula and launching the company, Maybelline was born. Thomas named it after his now married sister and Vaseline. So Maybelline, that's where I got its name from. Who knew? So even though Thomas came up with this mascara-like product spontaneously, it took a partnership with a pharmaceutical company, Park and Davis, to really get the ball rolling. According to the Made in Chicago Museum, the team's first product was called Lash Brow Een. So it's like lash dash brow dash een, they launched that product before Maybelline really became a big company. Lash Brow Een was sold out of the back of magazines as a mail order product only. Do you remember seeing magazines that had mail order stuff in them growing up?
I remember getting like the Sears and the Pennies catalogs. That's what I remember. And then most of them were like the really old ones my grandmother used to have. They were all illustrated.
Oh my gosh, totally. Do you remember that thing in the back of magazines that'd be like, learn to be an artist, draw this parrot and send it in? I think those are in the back of like Rolling Stone magazines. It's too funny.
I remember these advertisements like, do you want to be a model? Barbizon. And
Oh.
it's totally like terrible.
Right?
Yeah, record your video and send it in the mail to this address, like VHS. Oh my God.
Yeah, John Casablanca.
Oh, yes.
Whose son is the famous singer of The Strokes, Julian Casablanca.
All right.
So the timing for all of this, what was it called? Lash Brow Een it was one of those like, just, strike the, what's that saying? Strike the nail while it's hot, or strike the whatever. That, the timing was so perfect. Cause you think about this, like, Thomas and Mabel stumbled across like he created it, but this all started in 1913. This is right before the Roaring 20s kicks off. And the Roaring 20s was such an awakening for like beauty and glamour and fashion. There was so much fucking money in the United States at that time. People just really went all out with their style. So it was just magical for him to be able to do it at this time. And it's this time when women started actually wearing makeup to enhance their features. Because keep in mind, wearing makeup outside the theater was considered morally not appropriate before then. Like you didn't put on rouge and you didn't put on anything that would enhance your features.
No, in fact, a lot of it was if you wore lipstick, then that was a sign of prostitution.
Oh, totally. You and I talked about that on the red lipstick episode. So cosmetics were, quote, left the theater and the women outside the pale of good society, Williams said in an interview in 1934, according to the Made in Chicago Museum. Quote, up to comparatively recent times, very few women used rouges, lipsticks, eye beautifiers, and other obvious improvers of facial appearance, he continued saying. Here the real job began, because my capital was very small, and while my product was very good, I was faced with the job of selling women on the idea that it was perfectly moral to use eye beautifiers. Game changer. Like, you know, changing like the belief, and, you know, that's huge to be able to, like, you know, come in, and especially, and maybe more so than, like, I was gonna say, especially as a man, but that's me thinking in like 2020 terms, like probably like the faith was because he was a man.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
100% it was. A man says this is okay, then it's okay.
Take a look back. We'll post some of the images throughout our socials through this week, but I mean, some of the ads, like, you know, Kat, you're just talking about that one when it was like, you know, the kissing potion one.
It's just ridiculous how, I mean, women are just basically used as tools in sexuality. Like, oh, well, you know, if you want to be desirable, if you want to be sexy,
Put on some rouge.
for Robert, but keep a vanity full of different men's photos.
Oh, totally. So for Maybelline to really grow and become a serious company, Thomas Williams had to partner with somebody. So he partnered with the pharmaceutical company Park Davis and Company, and that's when Maybelline really started to grow. Side note: Park Davis and Company to this day, they're like Park and something. That part I didn't even care to write down, but it's like Park and some German name. They're a pharmaceutical company of the subsidiary of Pfizer, and Pfizer is actually one of the companies on the forefront of creating a vaccine for coronavirus.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting. So one of the things that they first did when they pivoted to become like a, you know, a growing cosmetic company is they created a cake mascara in a tin. So they actually like created this formulation that, you know, started with the Lash Brow Een, and it was in a little tin that you could buy, not just through mail order now, you could buy it in actual stores. But the one thing that was super smart, two things that were really smart about what they were doing was that when they first did mail order, that tin was about 75 cents. And it was very limited to like who could buy it. And then when they went into the retail stores, they created basically a 5-cent version of that. So like every woman could buy it, or anybody who had, you know, at least 5 cents to buy a beauty product could participate and buy that product. The other thing that they did, which was so cool, was a lot, you know, this is long before the era of like, you know, really thoughtful marketing and boutiquing and presentation. You know, things used to be just stacked on shelves, like stacked in, you know, piles. They actually created a display where all of these little tins set up like cards. So it was much more appealing to the new shopper.
What's really cool about that packaging is how long it lasted. Like I've seen photos of it. These tins look so super cool. And you know what? Besame does their own version. They do a cake mascara and they do exactly that, almost that same exact packaging. It's in a tin. They've got the little brush. You can get it wet and then you brush it in there and then put it on your eyelashes. So, which is a little more current, but they kind of focus on that vintage look, which obviously they probably pulled from that.
Oh yeah, I've bought some stuff when Besame first launched. I bought like one of their powders and one of their lips. They make beautiful products, and I love that they do. Their whole branding is an homage to the, you know, like the golden era of makeup, so to say. Oh, they
Mhm.
called that smaller version the depression size for obvious reasons.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So after World War II, Maybelline became an international venture. Williams moved to California with his life partner. They started marketing heavily to film stars, like silent film stars and movie stars, and signing contracts with actresses and actors, and really getting Maybelline to become like this really, you know, in-demand, well-branded name. And at this time, Williams still owned the company. 1964, William's lifelong partner, Emery Shaver, she passed away, and he was devastated by the loss of her. And he decided at that point, between, being in his near 70s, he sold the business to this company based out of Tennessee called Plo Incorporated. The entire company moved from Chicago into Nashville. This is a fun twist to the story. Maybelline had incorporated back in 1954, but Williams only gave stock to employees and people who had been like lifelong supporters of the brand. And when he made this sale to Plo Incorporated, everybody made a ton of money, including the stock boy made $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool. He donated a large sum of his wealth to Goodwill Industries and CARE, which was pretty cool because he felt like both of those organizations actually did good work in supporting people who were, down and out.
Oh, that's an amazing story.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So Maybelline and Helena Rubinstein Cosmetics were going like, it was a battle to who was going to bring the first mascara tube, like, the automatic technology tube to the market. Helena Rubinstein Incorporated Cosmetics made her one of the world's richest women, by the way. And at that time, there weren't very many women in this game, so that was pretty impressive. 1960s, they come out with their automatic technology mascara, and it is launched as Ultra Lash. Did you know that, Kat?
I did.
You were doing your homework too, which is great. And then in 1971, God bless, the birth of that famous pink and green tube of mascara, Great Lash, was born, solidifying the company's standing as the mascara authority. And as it should be, what a history.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. The most I see and I know that a lot of makeup artists use these mascaras, and we have disposable wands that we use. But that wand makes my lashes so chunky, and most of the ads, that's the appeal.
Oh yeah.
Like the 70s and 80s, and they're like volumizes and makes lashes thicker, and you're just like, holy clump, Batman. But that's their jam. Like that's what they want.
No, I totally agree. It's like, people love Dior Show, and that's the worst mascara in the world for me. So, it's all about what works for you as a mascara.
Dior Show makes my lashes feel like spider legs.
Yeah, Dior Show just makes my eyelids all mucky.
That too.
The brush just hits my eye, literally my eyelid, because my lashes are too short, which is a super bummer. I mean, it's too short. That brush is monstrous. It's a huge brush. So nonetheless, once they moved to Nashville, they were there for a while, and then they moved yet again to Little Rock, Arkansas. They moved all of the production. Everything ended up in Little Rock. And it wasn't until the 90s that Maybelline was sold to cosmetic giant L'Oreal, and they took on the name Maybelline New York. So that's when that all changed, because L'Oreal is based in New York. Well, L'Oreal USA is based in New York City. So, it's a fantastic history. What I love about it, they, so many firsts for them. The first, one of the first cosmetic products that was, sold directly out of a magazine and in stores and made affordable. And they continue to break rules to this day. In 2017, they were the first makeup brand to hire a man as a spokesperson. They hired Manny Gutierrez, otherwise known as Manny Makeup Artist.
Awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. There is your joyous Maybelline story, which to this day they produce over 200 different products.
I've listed a few of my favorites. So
Take it away, Kat.
we've talked about this lipstick before, and it is something that I kept in my bridal kit because it's honestly one of the best longwears that are out there. It is affordable, and when I have clients in my chair, they're like, "Holy crap, what is this color?" And I'm like, "Oh, you can, here it is." And then they take a picture of it, and they're like, "Really, Maybelline?" Like they're always surprised. And honestly, I think it's a great thing to be surprised about, because I think for a long time these longwear lipsticks were like so expensive. They're like $18 to $25. You got to go to Sephora. So when you think of drugstore brands, sometimes people get this concept of or this idea that it's cheap or it's not good, and that's not really the case here. Maybelline, the Super Matte Ink lipstick is amazing. They have it in liquid. They also have a roll-up pencil. It's like a fat pencil. So instead of it being a liquid that stays on for a really long time, this is more of like a lipstick that will kind of fade, but it's still really long wearing and it's amazing. So their color range is fantastic. They have fun colors. They've got like purple, hot pink, orange, and then they've got all of your nudes and your neutrals and your pinks. So highly recommend that. That's awesome. And it's you can find it at Ulta or any drugstore for $7.99.
I love those. You and I have tons of them. I just wore the matte ink, the roll up one the other day for my little fun Man Ray photo shoot. You couldn't tell because it was in black and white, but I was wearing that.
Yeah, I mean, and I carry it in my personal bag. So for myself, like I carry the liquid, I have a little more control with that. And I love the applicator because it's a doe foot. And so it's really nice doe foot where you have a lot of control and you can make that real crisp line. Yes. And obviously we talked about the Great Lash Mascara. Great Lash Mascara you can find for $6.99. They also make it in clear. So if you want it for your brows, but you don't want any tint, that is definitely my hack. I always use that for commercial. Men who need grooming, it helps keep all of the hairs down. And sometimes it helps with, if you use like a powder and then you apply a little bit of brow gel after that, it makes it look really nice and bushy and natural.
Be like Mabel, buy the clear.
Yes. Except I'm not using Vaseline.
True. Thank goodness.
And then something I received in an Ulta, it was like an Ulta gift because one day it was funny. Anne and I went shopping. We were Ulta together and it was probably like Christmas time 2-3 years ago. This was like the time I realized that I collected points. I didn't realize that Ulta did a point system. And the gal says to me, and I swear to God, no one's ever said anything to me before. She says to me, she drops a bomb. She's like, oh, you have like 3,000 something points. And Anne looks at me and she's like, Jesus Christ. And I guess you can trade in your points for dollars. And so I literally paid for a $125 purchase with that. But my point is, when you go to Ulta, they also give you these really cool little samples. So if you like purchase something that's like buy a line that they have a promo, they'll give you like a sample eyeliner or skincare item. And this time they gave me the Eye Studio Master Precise All Day Liquid Eyeliner. And it was a little one. So it's like kind of like a half size, just to, try out. And I'm not even shitting you. This eyeliner was pretty, I would say comparable to Kat Von D.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
And just like, the Stila, the waterproof eyeliner, this stayed on all day. The felt tip is super nice. It's not too flexible, but it's just flexible enough to give you kind of that like nice tension. So yeah, 10 out of 10, man, I would totally grab that. I mean, it's $7.
No, that's a great price.
It's bomb.
I love it.
But the last thing that I love more than anything is how affordable their foundation is and actually how good it is. I mentioned earlier the Super Matte ink. They have a Super Matte foundation. It's a long wear. It's amazing. And the Dream Matte Mousse foundation was one that caught my eye a long time ago. I was doing a short film. I was on set and this model came up to me. Well, she's not a model, but she was an actress. But she and I've shot her as a model. She approached me when I was doing her makeup, and she had her makeup bag. And I said, "Well, you don't need to bring your stuff. I am a makeup artist. I have everything here." And she was like, "Well, I brought this just in case. I wasn't sure." And so she brought out her foundation. And it was the Dream Matte Mousse foundation. And it was in this little container. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh, drugstore, right? It's like this whole, for a long time, I was very bougie. And I was like, no, that's like drugstore. Ew, no, it's not professional. But honestly, there's so many great products out there. And you just kind of have to like figure out what works for you. There's obviously stuff that's not great. Like there's some drugstore brands I just won't buy. It's not worth it. But this foundation, when I opened it up, I was like, oh my God, it looks like mousse. Like I was like totally confused. And when I touched it, It was so light and it went on her skin beautifully. And it's really good for women over the age of 30. So I highly recommend that. Also $8.
Awesome. I mean, that's such a great price. You can't like beat it. And I love that they have the Mousse Foundation. It's a huge like part of like K beauty, Korean beauty. They love all the bouncy, spongy makeups and a lot of the Asian beauty trends. So that's amazing.
I will say the only downside to any foundation that you buy in a drugstore is that you do not have the ability to test it. Like you don't have the ability like you would at Sephora to go in and like try a sample or, get whatever little container they've got at the time and fill it up and try that.
We hope you find some new products to go try out. And for funsies, we're putting 2 Maybelline products in the beauty boxes that we are giving away this week.
Yep, and we're not going to tell you what they are.
Nope, we won't. So make sure you're always hitting that, going and signing up. You will probably win something someday. You never know. Well, up next, beauty news.
So who here has ran out of ideas in the kitchen? A show of hands among you that has unfrozen your last pizza. Who is desperate for new ideas to feed yourself and the family? Well, look no further. Kat and Ann have created Beauty Tips and Biscuits, a place where you can get your fix for new and enticing entrees, where you can dabble in delicious desserts, or just get drunk in the kitchen with a wide assortment of cocktail ideas from your soon-to-be fellow members. Go to beautytipsandbiscuits.com today and join the new food movement. We'll see you there. Cheers!
You guys, this week on Beauty News, we found something really fun to talk about, and it's really innovative, and it's so now right now. So Allure Magazine has partnered with a company called Anywhere to create a curated collection of headbands and masks. So fucking cool, right?
Oh, it's so cool. And didn't they do that because healthcare workers were kind of experiencing skin troubles or?
Yep. They were saying after seeing images of skin irritation from frontline workers, they started speaking to a lot of different people working in the healthcare industry and just people on the front lines of COVID, and understanding that, the little straps, like they irritate the skin, they irritate around the ears. So they came up with really cool collection of, like I was saying, masks and headbands. There's even little bonnets as well that look like totally Little House on the Prairie, if that's your thing. And the headbands all have buttons on them so that the masks hook onto the buttons, not around your ears. So it takes that tension off of your ears. But they are calling it bandedtogetherproject.com. So if you purchase a headband and cloth face covering for yourself, Anywhere will donate a headband or medical cap with buttons to a medical professional in need. And they partnered with a bunch of really cool people, a couple of makeup artists, Daniel Martin and Nam Vo, hairstylist Chris McMillan and Nikki Nelms, dermatologist Sharina Idris, and manicurist May Kawari. And by the way, May Kawari does some badass nails, Kat. You definitely want to go check her out.
Oh man, I miss getting my nails done.
I do too. So they've created just a huge variety, really cool designs. It goes to a good cause. A mask and headband set plus a scrunchie pack will run you about $45, which is not bad. And I did order with some cats. I'm waiting for those to get here. They told me that they've shipped, so definitely go check it out. Anywhere. bandingtogetherproject.com if you guys want to check it out.
I just love that they're like the Toms of face masks.
Hell yeah. I think it's really cool too.
Especially with the shortage of PPE, which I have guilt about, because people are like begging for face masks, and here I am like ordering them off of like makeup websites trying to stock up so I can do my job. But gosh, what a great service.
I think so too. Well, Kat, it's ready for our new game show. Shall we play it?
Deal or no deal.
I feel like the song to like what is that one? Like The Year Without Santa Claus with the guy with the flames on his head and the Iceman. It's all dun 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 dun. Yeah. Heat miser.
I remember there was this Orange is the New Black episode where Crazy Eyes looks over and she's like, yeah, kind of reminds me of the heat miser. Red's hair looked like that. Oh my God, so funny. Anyways,
Oh, so good. This is what we're going to tell you guys. You're getting inundated with like all sorts of fucking emails. I'm sure we are. We just can't spend any more money, literally.
no, we've spent enough money, but we do it for you. So let's just emphasize that. We're doing it for a good cause.
Absolutely. All right, Kat, what's hot? What's hot out there?
Well, number one, Nordstrom's having a humongous sale. If you've not noticed, I've gotten a million emails. I'm sure you have too. 60% off. They're offering some killer deals on beauty products right now. And some of them are 30% off of these really, really nice high-end brands that normally when I see the price tag, I'm like, I don't think so. But these discounts, some of them are 30%. That's like almost a pro discount. And you bet your ass I got myself some Tom Ford lip jelly.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice. This is a great time, like you're saying, stock up on Tom Ford, Chanel, La Mer, all those kind of things that brings that price back down to a little bit more realistic pricing
Oh, for
or
real?
a little more like budget in line.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on what your budget is, right? Like,
True story. What's going on at Ulta?
currently, Ulta's doing a ton of buy one, get one 40% off. And a lot of it is skincare and hair care. And this is the time if you're going to buy, like, I don't know if you're like me, but I always go to Ulta and I buy the humongous pump bottles of Living Proof and I have them living in my shower. So if you're one of those people that likes to buy really large, like shampoos and conditioners that'll last you all year long, this is the time to get it.
That's awesome. Like those back bar sizes.
Absolutely. And even like with your skincare too, if there's something that you really like that you go through really quickly, go ahead and get yourself an extra one and keep some backstock for you in your house. I mean, when a lot of people are stressed out about expiration dates on their skincare products, that only applies to when you open it. So if you keep that in a nice cool spot, tucked away, you're going to be good for about 6, 7 months.
Does Sephora have anything good?
Well, Sephora is actually one, so they have some really good deals going on, but I'm just going to talk about this one item because this is a killer deal because we don't even get pro discounts on this. You might have, I don't know if you have, but you should go back and listen to our interview with Tyla Abbott from Aether Beauty. She is an amazing innovator. She has this line of cruelty-free, sustainable, amazing eyeshadows. And I have all of the palettes except one because it's always out of stock. But our favorite one, and I know Anne, you have this palette, is the Summer Solstice palette. It's originally $58. It's marked down to 40.
That's a really good price on that.
So I would definitely go hit them up. There's also some other things like Becca Cosmetics. They have 50% off. There's some highlighters that you can get with them. And honestly, that's better than a pro discount. We get 40. So I would go ahead and go over to Sephora's site and check it out. And I know a lot of stores are doing rotating items. Like sometimes it's hair care, sometimes it's skin. But these are the current ones that I discovered. So
I love it. No, I'm excited. And then lastly, if you guys, some of you may have heard about this, but nigelbeauty.com. This is where Kat and I and a lot of pro makeup artists do the heavy lifting on the shopping. It is basically a beauty emporium. If you have not been to nigelbeauty.com, you are fucking welcome. Go enjoy. Don't come crying to us when you've spent all your money. So they have some really killer sales. Nigel Beauty is located in Los Angeles, California, and they cater to industry. So you can get anything from like special effects kits and wigs and kit supplies and, disposable container. You buy a gallon of alcohol there, of isopropyl alcohol. You can get sanitation supplies, but they carry a full line of almost every beauty product. And they have some great sales this week. First of all, they're doing free shipping when you spend $95. Nigel's does not generally do free shipping unless you spend a certain amount of money. So that is a really good deal right there because their shipping can be a little bit, it's a little spendy, but they do have a few things that were on sale that caught my eye. The Stila Kajal eyeliners are $8. These are the roll-up smudgeable eyeliners that you could do like a really pretty smoky effect with. They have them in a few different colors. They're normally $20. Senna Cosmetics has a 7-piece natural nude eyeshadow palette that is on sale for $37. That is normally a $77 palette.
And Senna Cosmetics, by the way, is owned by one of the most fabulous women ever. So you need to go support her. She's also a makeup artist.
Eugenia Weston. She's incredible. She's a longtime professional makeup artist in Los Angeles. She's Bette Midler's professional or her personal makeup artist for years.
Oh,
And then lastly, Hourglass Be a Light palette. It's a trio of highlighters. It is $23. That is normally $46. So those are our deals. They're just all deals. We didn't see any no deals on there.
I think right now not people, but stores are putting out these crazy discounts because we need, they need shoppers. They need people buying stuff. They're not having the foot traffic they had before. So now's your time to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Well, up next.
Shit we bought.
Woo-hoo. Okay, Kat, it's ready. Are you ready?
See?
Okay. All right. Why don't you can get really excited. What are we gonna do?
We're going to announce 2 winners. That's dose. 2 people.
2 people, 2 lucky people are winning beauty boxes from us. Thank you for going to beautytipsandbs.com and clicking the button, get free shit?
Yeah, get free shit. It's a big button. You can't miss it.
Well, it's your lucky day. L. Hausner, I think it's Lori Hausner and Megan Roich. I'm going to go with Roich because it's like Deutsch. Congrats, ladies.
Congratulations.
Y'all want some shit.
Woohoo!
Send us an email, hey@beautytipsandbs.com, or drop us a note in our social media DMs and let us know that you heard your name. And we'll get all the deets to get that sent out to you.
So, Anne,
Yes.
I know you're a Tom Ford fan.
Big Tom Ford fan.
He's so handsome. He has some amazing products, and I love his packaging too. But sometimes it's a little hard for me to justify spending that money because, it's for me. I'm not going to put it in my kit. There is no bride. I love you brides, but there is no bride special enough for me to spend $50 on a tube of lipstick. But today I treated myself. I mentioned earlier how, during Deal or No Deal, that I definitely got myself some Tom Ford lip gloss. So I did. I purchased the Tom Ford lip jelly. It is originally $55. I got it for 30% off. I paid $38. This has a really moisturizing lip, kind of like a lip balm that makes your lips very shiny. And in the middle is a very pigmented center of color. So they have it in kind of like a violet. It's almost like syrup. I got a coral, and then they have a hot pink.
Oh, I love a good coral. You know that. So
Yeah, so that is like absolutely gorgeous packaging, and it's gonna fit nicely in my clutch.
that's awesome. I love Tom Ford. I have some new Tom Ford sunglasses that should be here soon. Gotta love a good sale at the rack. So my shit I bought is by Acure, and Acure's been around a long time. You and I both talked about some of their products before. I have some of their like blue tansy oil, and we've talked about some of their face masks. But today I'm going to talk about their resurfacing glycolic and unicorn root cleanser. Yes, I did say unicorn root. Kat, do you know what Eltris farinosa is?
No,
Sounds like a Harry Potter spell, doesn't it?
it does.
So that is actually what true unicorn root is called. It's an herb, and herbalists have long used it in their practices from anything from dysentery to menstrual cycles. But what it is most well known for in small circles of science and starting to become a little bit more popular is for replenishing estrogen balance in the skin. And as our estrogen levels deplete as women, we also lose collagen and elasticity right out the fucking door with it. So this cleanser has a little bit of that unicorn root in it. It also has amethyst, glycolic, and lactic acid. So it's really going to help like refine your skin. It's going to like break down the dead skin cells, get them off the skin, and then also give you that little perk of having some true unicorn root cleanser. And it's like $13 a bottle from a Cure. You can get it at Ulta. Oh, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for sharing the show. You guys truly are. We know it, we see it, and we love it. And
Love you.
yeah. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
And as always,
Don't forget to wash your dirty little face.